This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, two environmental groups join forces to address a perplexing conservation issue. Is the solution for obesity right here in Dunedin? Local ideas are put on the table as part of an annual conference. And we'll find out why a teenage music festival is going back to the future. Good evening, Dunedin. I'm Rebecca Dupree. A lack of public appreciation for local conservation efforts is being addressed through a new partnership. The Department of Conservation is working with Orokonui Eco Sanctuary for a new public awareness campaign, and more environmental groups are set to benefit.
Discussing ways to engage the public with nature. Department of Conservation staff are working with those at Orokonui Eco Sanctuary to grow their profile locally. It's part of a new DOC campaign aimed at supporting and amplifying the work of conservation groups citywide.
Ka mihi raupu tiaki, or Spotlight on Conservation, is all about featuring groups that work for conservation and really highlighting the awesome work that they do and why they do it and why it's important. And the main objective really is to get people thinking about how they can be involved in helping these organisations achieve their goals.
Dench is coordinating the campaign in an effort to get various conservation groups and their work recognised by the general public, particularly residents of the inner city.
Obviously lots of people live in our urban centre Dunedin, and so getting them more connected with what's going on in the community around conservation is really important to us.
The Eco Sanctuaries on DOC land. General Manager Chris Bailey says the organisations have enjoyed a positive working relationship for several years, and she hopes this latest campaign builds on that to grow conservation efforts.
We want to extend the knowledge about Orokonui and what we're doing to both of those groups, locals and other New Zealanders and overseas, and also perhaps attract new volunteers, new sponsors, new supporters, all those sorts of things that help support the biodiversity conservation work that we do here.
While the campaign's starting with Orokonui, Dench says the focus will shift to showcasing the work of smaller community-based groups, giving the wider Dunedin population as much insight as possible into the retention of the city's natural environment. Ruby McAndrew, 39 Dunedin News.
Contractors are removing errors in the bungled South Dunedin cycle network on behalf of the City Council. Some traffic islands are being removed after complaints from residents and authorities. Many motorists have been driving over the top of the traffic islands instead of manoeuvring around them. In some areas, the new road layout is too narrow for fire engines and other large vehicles. Contractors are reinstating two-way traffic in some streets and installing new signage. Council staff have admitted blunders in the network, which has cost about $4 million to date. The fixing of problems is expected to cost a few $100,000, leaving less in the budget for additional work. Obesity is set to become New Zealand's largest health problem and is already a major priority for medical workers. It's one of many issues being discussed at the Public Health Association's annual conference taking place in Dunedin. And the event is putting local solutions under the spotlight.
Almost 300 health experts from New Zealand and Australia gather in Dunedin for a 3-day conference exploring the theme that public health is everybody's business. And it's not just medical staff involved. Delegates also represent local government as well as the commercial sector.
If we want to improve the health of all New Zealanders, we can't just rely on the health service or the health sector to do that. We've got to get the whole of the nation involved.
They're pondering the big issues, what the country's public health sector will need to address in coming years, and how to do that with all parties working towards a common goal.
And obesity is going to become the biggest public health problem in New Zealand. It's going to have a bigger impact than smoking very shortly. So we need to be thinking about how can we, as New Zealand, Aotearoa, how can we respond to the challenge of obesity in our population.
With the conference held in Dunedin, local initiatives are at the forefront of discussion, including research from the university's Preventive and Social Medicine Department and city-wide efforts to promote activity. ideas to inspire delegates and to be replicated elsewhere.
So there's about starting up, sharing good ideas and seeing those start up in many places across the country, the idea of a small seed growing and taking root across the whole of New Zealand. So that's one aspect.
The City Council's social wellbeing strategy is also being highlighted through the conference, a healthy way forward for the city and potentially the rest of New Zealand. Rosie Mannins, 39, Dunedin News.
Police are investigating an alleged sexual assault in the central city. The incident reportedly occurred near the Octagon in the early hours of yesterday morning. Police won't disclose details, only confirming that they're looking into the case. The assault was allegedly reported to police by Dunedin hospital staff after the victim received treatment. No other information about the incident is publicly available at this stage. Teenage musicians from around the Lower South Island are taking over the Dunedin Town Hall. Hundreds are performing for this year's Otago Secondary School's Music Festival, and the historic show is being given a futuristic twist.
The culmination of a month's practice. Hundreds of high school pupils perform in the town hall for the 46th Annual Secondary Schools Music Festival, with this year's show celebrating a popular time-travelling film trilogy.
The title of the concert is actually Bark to the Future, so we've got some Bark in there as well as a lot of Back to the Future numbers.
Grant says performing in the town hall's a treat for pupils, as the venue's acoustics are top-notch. Students from each of the city's secondary schools are involved, as well as some from Central Otago and Southland. And as some schools don't have orchestras or even choirs, the chance for pupils to play with such a big group is proving too good to pass up.
It's a really good opportunity to make music with lots of different people of varying abilities and backgrounds, which is a really useful experience as a musician.
Our school orchestra is tiny, so it's quite exciting to play with lots of other musicians and sing in the mass choir as well.
The 700-strong groups spent the day rehearsing one last time, having spent the past few weeks learning the music and practising at a local high school. And a grant from the City Council means the event's free for the first time.
It just takes the pressure off the organising committee who try and raise the funds through other grants and other places, which is always a worry, wondering whether we've actually got the money to actually continue it on for the next year.
The festival's one night only, and all on stage expect to give the public an impressive show, cranking the sound up to 1.21 gigawatts. David DeLorean, 39 Dunedin News.
Still to come on 39 Dunedin News, we take a look at the local support for increasing the refugee quota, and special screws are being used to thwart criminals. We'll find out how.
We can't guarantee what people will do once they leave here, but we can sure as hell try to make it better. We're making headways, especially with our offenders going out and the integration between our industries and the outside industries, like the real stuff. Society just needs to give these guys a chance.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell menswear, it fits.
Are you within your legal rights to take one life in order to save another? Welcome to the ambiguities of law. Because whilst the law may be clear, there is still room for both yes and no.
What? No!
The decision will depend on logical thinking and the art of argument. And this is what we learn at New Zealand's first and world-renowned law faculty.
You can stop now!
I'm Latafale, and this is my place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
Big Orange for all your movies, records, books and games. Pre-loved needs and vinyl records, 45s, DVDs. A South Dunedin family-owned business for over 15 years. Check us out on Facebook, opposite Westpac on the sunny side of King Edward Street.
Quality Tailors, the alterations specialists, adjusting alterations made to measure. Quality Tailors, fitting Dunedin for over 15 years. Call 477 8028 162 Princess Street, one shop down from Darling Street.
Wake up time and another frantic day ahead for Haraway's Oat Singles. With 3 delicious flavours in each pack, they don't last long with this family. They're so convenient and tasty, and they're ready in seconds. Haraway's Oat Singles are the ideal breakfast or snack on the run for today's busy families. And there's a flavour to suit everyone. Beat the rush and make sure you get your favourite flavour. Haraway's Oat Singles. Try new Kiwi Favourites Caramel Variety Pack.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
Tune in on Thursday for Motorsport Night on Dunedin Television.
Welcome back. The local construction sector looks to be in a strong position with top building apprentices winning national recognition. 2 Dunedin men were awarded 2nd and 3rd place in this year's Southern Final for the Registered Master Builders Apprentice of the Year contest. 22-year-old Blake McDonald, working for Naylor Love Construction, came 2nd, and 25-year-old Clark McNabb from GLS Builders Limited came 3rd. The winning Southern title went to 25-year-old Cale Marshall of Mainframe Limited in Queenstown. And on that note, let's take a look at today's financials. The NZX 50 has closed the day up 26 points. It's now at 5,573. The Dow Jones has tumbled 272 points. To the exchange rates, and the Kiwi dollar is up against the yen, but we are down against the other currencies we follow. The University of Otago's Amnesty International group is hosting local events to address issues with the country's refugee quota. Gemma Forlong is one of the group's leaders and she joins us to explain what's happening. Good evening.
Hello.
Now, what is the current refugee quota here?
Our current quota at the moment is 750 people per year, plus sometimes we allow 300 in as family members. But these quotas haven't always been allowed every year. Sometimes it can be less.
Why do you think the government should increase it?
Well, our quota hasn't been changed in about 28 years. And basically, refugees in the world, the crisis is at 59.5 million people displaced in the world right now. And not responding to this kind of shows a neglect of responding.
How is Amnesty International dealing with it?
Amnesty has been calling on the New Zealand government to raise the quota for the last couple of years. University groups and high school groups ourselves, this is our current campaign this year and we want to double the quota.
What events are you hosting locally?
This week we're holding a discussion panel. It's emceed by journalist Steve Addison, and the panellists include Bryce Edwards of the politics department, Lucia Dorr, who's a filmmaker, and she's spent quite a bit of time as a journalist in the Middle East. Mustafa Uwash, who is a PhD student at Otago this year, and he was a refugee who resettled in New Zealand from Iraq. And we also have a last-minute addition of material from the Greens Party.
How do you hope these events will make a difference?
We want to, begin more discussion on the issue of a quota. People need to talk about it, and obviously with the recent discussion about it, we want to continue that to encourage people to increase the quota.
What can locals do to help?
Talk about it with people, really. You can go see Michael Woodhouse, who's Minister of Immigration and MP here in Dunedin, writing letters. Also, we have a petition online at amnesty.org.nz that you can go and sign.
Are you expecting a large turnout to these events?
Hopefully. We have a Facebook event that says that there's going to be quite a few people there, but it can change depending on what people are up to and that kind of thing.
What other issues does the group deal with?
Amnesty at Otago. We also are doing a campaign this year on conscientious objectors. So in South Korea there are mandatory 3-year military service conditions that everybody has to go through, and if you refuse to do those you get put into prison for about 2 years. And then your permanent record is basically tarnished for life, so it really follows you on for the rest of your life, and you struggle to get a job. And plenty of people object to joining the military because of religious beliefs, or they're just plain pacifists. So what we're trying to do is encourage the South Korean government, largely through letter writing, to allow people alternatives than military service.
Are many locals involved with Amnesty?
I think there's a couple of Amnesty groups around Dunedin itself, as well as I think it's 3 or 4 high school groups, and then our Amnesty team on campus has about 6 members as well.
Gemma Forlong from the University of Otago's Amnesty International Group, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News, we take a look at the method being used to combat number plate theft, and we'll find out why it's hoped local hockey players will become national stars.
Do you want support for your breathing? You are not alone. In New Zealand, over 600,000 people have some form of breathing difficulty, especially with the high pollen season in New Zealand. Puff Plus is an excellent natural product developed to support lung function and breathing difficulties. Puff Plus is so effective, you get a no questions asked money-back guarantee on the first purchase. Give it a go, you have nothing to lose. Call now, 0800 502 402. Take as directed. If symptoms persist, see your healthcare professional.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell menswear, it fits.
It has no arms, no legs, has a drill in its mouth up to 8 hours a day and still never complains. It's one of 72 mannequin torsos in our new $3.8 million dental simulation lab, the first and only facility of its kind in New Zealand. My name is Nikki Rose Coltolaro, and this is my place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product, and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
Orange for all your movies, records, books and games. Pre-loved needs and vinyl records, 45s, DVDs. A South Dunedin family-owned business for over 15 years. Check us out on Facebook, opposite Westpac on the sunny side of King Edward Street.
Quality Tailors, the alterations specialists, adjusting alterations made to measure. Quality Tailors, fitting Dunedin for over 15 years. Call 477 8028 162 Princess Street, one shop down from Darling Street.
Welcome back. Police are searching for a car thief who sparked a high-speed chase through the city. Officers say a 2005 Mazda RX-8 was stolen from North Dunedin on Saturday night. The car was then involved in a police pursuit, which officers were forced to abandon due to the unsafe way the suspect was driving. Police found the car with a blown tyre about 7:30 a.m. yesterday at Evansdale Glen, just north of the city. The rise of number plate theft in the city is being combated by community patrol staff. They're helping motorists to secure registration plates with special screws, and they hope it leads to a reduction in crime.
Preventing theft by attaching number plates to vehicles with special screws. Community patrol staff help car owners for a small fee in a first-of-its-kind initiative held in a supermarket car park next to the Central Police Station. The screws can only be removed by a special tool, and the logic behind their use is simple.
The story is that if people come to a car which has got those screws on, they'll go to another car which is easier to steal the plates on.
He says the theft of licence plates from local vehicles is a growing issue, and one that residents as well as police are keen to curb.
A major problem in North Island, but it's working its way down here. There's been incidents of just in recent times. 1 week there was 8 cars had plates stolen.
Some plates are even being stolen from the vehicles parked in commercial car yards, predominantly as a precursor to other crime.
Main reason would be that they're going to commit a crime with it. And we're talking about crimes, drive-offs and that sort of thing, going for petrol. And
he says thieves see stealing plates as easy and effective.
If they've got the wrong plates, it's as good as having a stolen car. Stolen plates, they can, same thing.
He's overwhelmed with the response from locals who have been lining up to have plates fixed. But he warns residents not to become complacent.
People need to secure their cars. Make sure they're locked, no keys in it and the valuables are gone. And in saying that, it's my personal opinion, they should be locked even in the garage.
The initiative helps to fund local community patrols, which are supported by the City Council. Rosie Mannins, 39, Dunedin News.
Local hockey players are being coached by some of New Zealand's best in the sport. The training comes as hockey's popularity grows among primary school pupils throughout the region, and it's hoped they become the next generation of national representatives.
The journey to national hockey stardom begins on the turf, where about 60 local children are being coached by some of New Zealand's top NHL talent. Hockey's popularity among primary school pupils has been growing steadily over the last few years, and top players want to nurture that.
We've got kids learning how to properly hit from black stick striker and things like that, but it's also just a bit of inspiration. These guys came from these kids' schools and went through our high schools down here and now are actually playing in the black sticks.
French says young players can find holding the stick awkward at first, but that quickly changes, with these locals benefiting from the training handed down to NHL players by top international coaches. The drills being taught are used in black sticks training, ensuring children master the all-important basics.
Obviously the technical part of getting ridiculously good at it like these guys takes a long time, but it's surprising how quick they can pick up the primary school level hockey skills.
There are more than 1,000 local kids playing in small sticks hockey competitions, and thousands more are being trained in a school coaching program throughout the region. French says it's great to have members of the Southern Dogs and Southern Storm involved, showing young players where hard yards can lead.
We have the representative teams, but we also have development programs from week to week where kids can come and get a bit of extra coaching. and that moves up through the association at Otago, through to Southern Hockey.
And with persistence, these children may find themselves on the national stage, following in the footsteps of their star coaches. David DeLorean, 39, Dunedin News.
Now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. A lack of public appreciation for local conservation efforts is prompting DOC to work with Orokonui Eco Sanctuary on a new campaign. Obesity is set to become the country's biggest health issue, for which local solutions are being highlighted at a national conference. And about 700 teenagers from the Lower South Island are performing in a secondary school's music festival at the Town Hall. Well, it's time now to find out what's going to be in tomorrow's Otago Daily Times, and new editor Barry Stewart joins us.
Get it right.
That was quite a clever wee mashup, wasn't it?
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, more problems at I've been called worse things. More problems at Sinclair Beach. $30,000 worth of plastic piles have been destroyed by waves a week after they were installed. So yeah, more problems there. So Dunedin could take 100 Syrian refugees, according to a working group. So that debate is on now. There's another debate meeting tonight about that, so we'll have coverage of that. Cycleway Islands have been ripped up today, so we have coverage of that, and of course tomorrow we'll have also coverage of the secondary schools music festival. Travel, we have writer Gillian Vine goes to Fiji, so she loved that, so she reports back on that one, lucky her. And Signal, we have TV listings of course, and a lot of technology and all those other good things in that.
That is tomorrow's ODT. Thank you, Barry.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Time now for a look at local weather.
Weather Update is proudly brought to you in association with Silverhorn's Puff Plus.
And here is tonight's city view. It's taken of spring blossoms, gently blowing in the wind. And around the city at 3 o'clock this afternoon, 7 degrees for the central city and the Taieri, and 8 at the Gardens. To the situation, and this very cold southwest flow is easing ahead of a ridge of high pressure which is due in tomorrow, although another front, another cold one, and a trough of low pressure is expected on Wednesday and Thursday. Well, to the forecast for the main towns on the Lower South Island for tomorrow, mostly fine with westerlies for Invercargill and Te Anau. A fine day awaits Gore and Alexandra, highs of around 10 or 11 degrees. Mostly fine in Queenstown with sou'westers, 11 degrees there. Afternoon nor'easters for Oamaru, but a fine day with a high of 12. And fine weather for Wanaka and Twizel, 11 degrees each. And Dunedin tonight becoming fine, although frosts are likely in sheltered places. Tonight's low 4 degrees. Mostly fine and sunny tomorrow with sou'westers tending northeast in the afternoon, going for a high of 11. Be good to make double figures. And on Wednesday, high cloud increasing with mild nor'westers freshening at a high of 13. To tidal and fishing information, low tide tomorrow morning is at 6:25. High tide follows shortly after midday. And fishing conditions will be fair. Have your line in the water at around 8:30 a.m. in fact. Got 11 on the brain now for the best chance. That's local news. See you tomorrow.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.